Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to season 2 of the Saying Media podcast. This is the season finale, and I'm so excited for this episode because I have a special guest with me today. I haven't seen her in about 2 years, but we've been friends for about 3. Welcome,
Diane. I am 23, turning 24 this year.
Okay.
I've known Vinny for, like he said, two and a half years. We met through a mutual friend down in Richmond.
Yes.
And we've kept in touch ever since, but we haven't really hung out that often, unfortunately.
Yeah, and now I'm probably going to keep it on myself to hit you up more and be like, hey, what you doing? Or if you want to do something. But I'm actually really excited to have you on this podcast, right? Because if you guys don't know Diane, like what she was talking about, we met each other about 2.5 years ago to 3 years. And we met through like mutual, like I was starting this different business at the time, and I was trying to get like graphic designs for it. And our mutual friend was like, oh, I know someone. If you want to go meet her, she's coming down to visit me in Richmond.
Cara, right?
It was Nova Productions to Sexy Cara. And the funny thing is, it's still SK now, but we're rebranding to a different brand. That watch out, people, it's coming out. I've been saying this for the longest time, but it is coming.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, so we could probably talk about it after. So keep in touch and keep on watching these podcasts to know. But yeah, like I remember asking for design and stuff like that, and Shamna told me, it was like, yeah, she's a person that like you need to like know what you want because she doesn't deal with that BS. And it's like she's very passionate about seeing other people who are passionate about their projects. And I was like, that's dope, because I'm pretty sure you met two people who always talk about it.
Yeah.
But it never happens. And I think why we haven't met too is because we both think we have busy schedules, like busy schedules that we can't hit each other up type of thing. Because when I'm seeing you on Instagram, and that's why I wanted you on here, is like, I'm like, she's always grinding. She's at the salon. She's like mixing her calendar. She's meeting these other people.
And I think that intimidates people too, because no one ever hits me up. They're like, oh, I don't want to hit you up because, your schedule's booked up.
Oh,
But
I get the same thing. They're like, you're always on the podcast, like you're shooting something. I'm like, it's like I feel like you never message me. I'm like, dude, it's because it's the people in the proximity of me.
Yeah.
Like, if you're close to me and like I see you every day, like I'm going to hit you up more to like, let's do this photo shoot, let's do this thing, let's do this thing. And now I was like, luckily it took our mutual friend Sam. He was like, yeah, she's down for a podcast. And I was like, does she still have the same number? Yes, she does.
He texted me that like the moment.
In the moment, I was like, hey, I heard you wanted to go do a podcast, so let's get it done. And you were actually excited to do it. I was like, yes, let's get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been on a podcast. This is my first one, so
Wow.
I'm honored. I'm excited.
So let's hopefully get you on more future ones. So today's subject is probably going to just be a natural conversation. I
Yeah.
just wanted to basically catch up with you and just talk about basically your entrepreneurial life, where you're just, doing your own thing, finding your own independence, and just basically doing you to your best experience.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we both haven't really seen each other that, I guess, recently because we're both so busy grinding and working. And honestly, yeah, my schedule is pretty booked up. Like when I look at my calendar for months ahead, every single day there's something to do.
Dang.
Yeah, but isn't it? I'm glad we planned this out though, even though it was 2 weeks in advance. We
Yes.
made it work.
Yes. I feel like that's a big thing for, I guess, people with quote unquote busy schedules, right? Because no matter what, I think we'll find time for the people that we care about and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. But like we know, talking to other people with busy schedules, right? We always try to play it 2 weeks ahead of time. Like I remember texting you, I was like, hey, I know I want to get you on a podcast, but I know you have a busy schedule. So just let me know how your schedule works out, and then I'll try to fit it within my schedule. Because I said that I'm very, like the funny thing is we're quote unquote busy, but we're also lenient to the people that we're trying to make plans for.
Priorities,
Yeah.
right?
So I was like, just let me know any time that works for you, and I'll clear that schedule for you. And I was like, for sure, 2 weeks ahead of time, because I don't want to do a week ahead of time and be like, oh, I have something, because that's not respectful.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm free on these days, and it's like, I'm actually free all day this day. I'm like, book it. Let's just do the whole day.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Really glad. But yeah, so I've just been working, studying still.
Studying still, actually. Wow.
Managing. Well, I currently actively manage 3 salons currently.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
all in the same area, all in Maryland. Studying, and honestly, sometimes I get those moments where I'm like, I'm burned out, and I kind of want to take a week off, but I can't because I have to work, and my schedule's booked up, so it's not that easy to...
Yeah, kind of take that step back right now. Yeah, hopefully you can, because sometimes it takes that step back to bounce back even tenfold. But
That's
you know,
something I'm slowly coming to terms with as well and realizing, because for the longest time I kept sort of rushing and pushing myself.
oh, okay. So how is that like right now, like managing three salons and studying at the same time? Because, you know, you always hear these type of stories, and people always find a way to be like no offense to the people, right? Like everyone has their own time, their own schedule, and like they have different motivations. Because school and studying is hard enough
Yeah.
as itself, but some people they just have to do these other things on top of it. So how is it like managing three salons and studying at the same time?
Well, I've been doing it for about 4 years now.
Okay.
3.5, coming up 4. So I've always worked full time, studied full time. I never studied and just straight up focused, had 100% full focus on studies, which is why I'm in my 3rd year. I haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
But it's honestly smooth sailing. I'm so used to it. Like when I'm
That's
not
good.
when I'm not studying or not working, it feels strange to me.
It's kind of where like you're in the zone of work, 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 work. There's something to do, and then when it stands still, it's like I feel like I'm missing something. Like there's something to do
Absolutely.
today, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll always try to find something to do, whether I'm out, hanging out with friends. Sometimes it's a bad thing as well. I'm like, oh, like I'll check my phone. It's like, oh, I have to do this. And, I'm checking my schedule, booking appointments, responding to clients. Yeah.
Yeah, dang, that's intense, and like it's really nice that you're really like organized. That's the word I'm trying to say.
You gotta be.
Because like if you're not organized, how are you going to make sure you keep up with all these things? And that's kind of great that you're in the mindset of like, oh wow, like I have something to do. I'm gonna keep myself organized and make sure that I have this done by this day. That when there's nothing to do, you're like, wow, is there really nothing to do? Because I bet when COVID hit, did that hit you really hard?
Yeah, absolutely. We closed our salon. So last year in March, we ended up closing all of our salons. So I was staying home and I was studying. That was probably the only time I was studying and had my full focus on studies.
Yeah, yeah.
So it did feel strange.
Yeah, because I felt like for the people who are like always on the go, 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 because I've talked about this countlessly on like older podcasts and stuff like that. Because in the college mindset, where I was doing work too, but I was also focusing on all these other organizations that I was trying to be a leader in, basically. And then when COVID was like, okay, don't come back to school, just focus on your studies, I kind of just sat there. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And then I was running SK at the time too, and we were consistently doing a film every other week. So there was we were in mid-production, we were about to wrap up this production for one of my friends, and we couldn't do anything. And I was like, what did I do? Like, all I did was focus on studies too. I was like, okay, I could only study, and when I finished my studying, it's like, all right, well, back to repeating this the same day the next day type thing.
I think, well, due to COVID though, it definitely with the time off, during the time when we were closed, I used that time as leverage to, find out what other businesses I wanted to
pursue
in the future, in case COVID ever, causes to be closed down again. I wanted a business that could be, I guess, secure, Salons are they're fluctuating. We have our bad seasons, we have our good seasons, just like restaurants. So that definitely gave me a lot of thought and put me into perspective that, nothing in the business world is permanent.
Yes, for sure. COVID definitely opened eyes to that. It's like, a lot of people said that, I don't know if you heard too, where like you can't depend on that corporate job after seeing what COVID has done to the world, basically. Because you could be laid off, you could be they're like, we can't have as much workers, or they close down and they don't give you any pay, and it's like it's not your fault. So it's kind of like finding that business that you're passionate about and something that you can keep on doing even though when like basically shit hits the fan type of thing.
So that also gave me perspective that you also have to have multiple streams of income at all times.
Yes, that's 100%, because people don't really think about the assets or passive income that could be coming. Like, granted, I think a lot of the entrepreneur podcasts I've seen, right, it's like you can't live just sitting on your ass, right? Like, sure, you could have all these properties and stuff like that, but down the line, like, there's people who go into retirement, right? And they're like, 1 year when they're in retirement, they just went back to work because they're like, what am I doing? It's like there's something at least I want to do, type of thing.
Maybe their passion also lies within working. I know for me, that's where my passion lies.
That's really good. So with your work and studying and everything, how's that helped you with like your self-confidence and your independence and
Oh,
like kind of running your own world basically.
It definitely was like I guess a 180-degree turn from when I graduated high school. My confidence level was pretty low. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I didn't know what my passions were. I sort of fell into the nail business.
Okay.
So growing up, my mom was a nail technician. She worked at multiple nail salons. And I remember telling myself, wow, I want to be like mom. Like, I want to work. I want to do nails. And my dad was like, no, you can't do that.
Really?
You know,
Wow.
you're here. You need to get a degree. You need to, don't do what your mom does because you have more potential than that. And after I graduated high school, I fell into the salon business. And then I realized, wow, like, I don't think, I don't know, I feel like maybe I could follow my mom's steps, but in a different approach.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, I don't have to be sitting down doing nails, but I could be managing or owning my own salon.
Yes.
So definitely, I did not expect it. I wanted to be a graphic designer, a full-time graphic designer, which I still do now. It's a side hustle of mine.
Yes.
But I found 100% true passion in the nail salon business.
Yeah, that's good. And I think that's great that you still didn't drop graphic design, right? Because you said obviously you're still passionate about it. It's just a side hustle at the moment right now. And it's great that we're able to be like, hey, like, yeah, I don't need to be sitting down doing nails, but I could find a loophole and go somewhere around it and be managing the business myself. And I feel like that's like the mindset that people who want to get a better life or want to become their own type of leader needs to think about, right? Because you can't be like, oh, I'm going to work this 9-to-5 job and like not pursue your side hustles that are the things that you want to do in order to become your own boss, right? Like I understand, and it's been talked about multiple times, like do whatever you need to do to make that capital, right? Because that capital is going to help you dive in more into your business, and that in your business is the investment.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's like, do that work that you have to do, but then once that side hustle or that main thing that you want to do makes you the money, you can focus full time on that. And then you found another way too, because that's one way. And the other way was, all right, how can I make something that I'm interested in, make it into a profession where I can make the most money out of the outcome of it?
I feel like that's always a struggle though, because no one wants to do a job. I feel like if you do something over and over again, you'll eventually get tired of it.
Yes.
So I feel like that's always a struggle because, for one reason, I didn't want to study graphic design was because of, I guess, the uncertainty of getting a job right afterwards.
Yeah.
But jumping back to the nail salon business, it's very stereotypical, you know, for me as a Vietnamese girl, you know, working in the nail salon.
Yeah.
And people are always like, oh, of course you work at the nail salon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they're like, oh yeah, you're just doing nails.
Yeah,
and
but I love it because I don't know, the idea of making someone feel pretty and confident is just so beautiful to me.
Yeah, and that's great. Like, I really love that you really took that as like not a stereotype or like an insult, but it's actually like a piece of armor for you in a way. Because at the end of the day, like, I feel like people shouldn't be judging others for what they do, because if they're passionate about it, like, you know, fuck off. Like, do what, like,
happiness is the main goal.
Yeah,
someone taught me that recently.
Yeah, that's really, really good, because at the end of the day, you're not there to please others. You're there to please yourself, you know? So if this is something that you love, like, they don't have any right to, like, judge you for that, you know? They're like, and, like, they're probably just sitting there like, huh, how's she doing this? You know, it's like, you know, you need to put your money where your mouth is, and you are definitely doing that.
I hope so. I'm trying.
I mean, it's, for me at least, being an outside person and haven't seen you in a while, it's like, everything is going into the motions that you're trying to do right now.
Yeah, but as always, I try not to compare myself to other people, you know, around our age.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on the right path, and, you know, timing for me is perfect.
Yeah, that's good, because I feel like that goes into the quote, like, everything happens in life for a reason, right? And then that's why you need to take that small steps, and, like, everyone has their own journey to follow, basically. So I really love that for you. So how has it been, like, just, you know, living life lately now?
I haven't seen anyone really.
Really?
Like I've just been focused on work, family, school,
Yeah.
my puppy.
Oh, how's your puppy?
She's good. She's approaching a year in July.
A year, dang. She has grown.
Yeah. So it's also funny though. Amidst all like I guess the priorities that I had, like my busy schedule, I picked up Lana last year, and I was like, I'm just gonna add onto my plate of responsibilities.
Yeah.
And it's all working out so well.
I feel like it just for some people it just helps, and then for some people it's like, can I really take on another piece of responsibility
It's
right
a challenge. That always comes across my mind. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, should I just pick up another like side hustle, start another business? But I feel like do you ever struggle with just having too much ambition sometimes? You never get things done.
Oh God. Oh wow. You gotta bring that up. Yes, for sure. Oh my, there's this podcast, right? The podcast we're doing right now. And then like my main goal, like my main goal, which probably a lot of you don't know, is I want to be in front of the camera. I want to be that content creator. I want to be making short films and like being the main actor of it in a way, or being that like talk show host, like, you know, David So with like Sudden Foods with Timothy Delgado and stuff like that. Like I want to be there to entertain people and make sure they have something to watch, like, oh shit, did that just happen type of thing. But it's also like, when I dived into it, right, like I knew I always wanted to be a content creator, movie director, and like actor and stuff like that. But then when I was trying to dive into it, right, I picked up the camera, because you need the camera in order to do the stuff, right? And then like I didn't really know people growing up back then that like were passionate about being in the camera, and like I don't know if you have this thing too, where like, yes, when I need help, I'll ask for help, right? But I also have a form of independence where like I feel like I need to get it done myself in a way.
Always.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna learn this camera stuff. I'm gonna learn how to do this videography. I'm gonna learn how to like do these type of transitions and stuff like that. So that way, I know how to direct it or how it needs to be portrayed when I'm in front of the camera. But when I started learning, I kind of picked that up too. So like I'm running another side business on the side too called CC Media, Create and Capture Media, with two of my other friends, Jordan and Steph. And that's where we do videography and photography work for business promotion. It's like digital marketing and like event stuff, like event recap. And then I'm also starting restarting SK business that's rebranding into a new name, and we're trying to be like the next 88 Rising, where it's a group of creatives coming together as a collective and making basically productions. And running my own personal brand too, where I'm
Look at you.
I'm on TikTok now. I'm redoing this YouTube stuff with the podcast. Right now my YouTube's only podcast, but I've also shot a vlog about 3 weeks ago, but I haven't touched any of it. But I know that vlog's going to be pretty good compared to my old ones, because I gained a lot of knowledge. Just that, do I want to sit there and edit that right now? Nah, I'm going to do these other side hustles. And then I got that backdrop. We're about to go on a photo shoot after this too. It's like, yes, I'm doing so much that it's not making me do a lot at the same time.
I sometimes you just gotta direct your focus into one thing, but I guess for us, our focus is just on so many things.
Yeah, because I don't know if you feel this, but I feel like if I don't dive into all these other things, because, you know, I feel like you're the same, like you're passionate about all of them. It's like you don't want to miss out on the opportunity of at least trying to do it type of thing.
Yeah, you won't know unless... The thing about finding what's right for you is you just gotta find out what's not right for you. So that means putting all your eggs in every single basket.
Yeah, because you don't want to put every egg in one basket and then it's not working out for you. Because I think I recently found out, like, I like photography, I like shoots and stuff like that, but I went to this like fashion shoot like last week in Maryland, right, in the Baltimore area, and it was cool. I definitely could do it, and like it was definitely interesting, but I was like, I don't see myself doing this for like the rest of my life.
Just shooting fashion?
Yeah, like just going to like a fashion area and like doing like a clothing brand for someone. Like it's something I could do probably with a company and be like extra hands and extra helps, and like I could capture the video and stuff like that, and like I think I would love directing there, right? But I wouldn't like being on set, and it's not, I guess probably because it was like the person's first drop, so it wasn't really planned, so the videographers were kind of just sitting there for a while, and like we had to reschedule because all the time was for the photographers.
I see.
Type of thing. But and also like with this podcast, right, I like talking and showcasing it, but editing wise I would probably just hand it to an editor. type of thing.
Really, some people say the opposite. Some people are like, "Oh, I love editing. Editing's my favorite part."
I love editing when I did skits again. So when I was doing skits, I was like, "Oh, this is great! Like, wow! Like, I could mess up when I'm doing the podcast. I'm like, click, click, click. All right, this is set. All right."
Well, majority of the podcast is just no one really watches the video, right? They just listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of my streams are on the
Spotify.
Yeah, and then I have some views and the people commented on it too.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to like we talked about add variety and just put it on multiple platforms and see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, actually perfect timing. We're about to hit our halfway mark right now. So guys, if you need to get a drink of water, we're probably gonna get a drink of water after this. Need to use the restroom, grab that little snack, grab that friend who was like, oh, this subject's really interesting to listen to, and get all that done. We are also welcoming sponsors to the Saying Media podcast or any other things. I'm well connected with a lot of creatives out there and just people in general. So, I'll put Diane's socials and all the things that she does below. I have all these other friends too. All socials will be below. You could sponsor any of them or this, and we could probably get it done for you. Commercial, promo video, talk about it, anything you want. But we'll see you in a bit. And we are back. Hope you got that drink of water, juice, get that snack, brought that friend, and we are going to go back onto subject and move on to a different thing, basically. The importance of basically self-confidence.
Yeah, and just being independent, being your own best friend.
Yeah,
being self-reliant.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, how has that been for you? Like just doing your own thing, like just relying on yourself.
I mean, growing up, I've always been independent.
Oh, that's good.
I think there's a difference between not reaching out to someone because you're, I guess you're just afraid of being, a bother.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a difference of not reaching out just because, you got everything on your own. You really don't need anyone. For me, though, maintaining friendships has always been a struggle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I was always the one to reach out to a lot of my friends. And ever since I became busy and when I didn't reach out, no one reached out to me. So that's when our friendship sort of, fell into
dwindled.
the back. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I've heard a lot of those stories actually where like, especially with COVID now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like compared to the people that you see every day and they're like, oh yeah, I got your back. Oh, I'll see you at the next party. I'll see you at the next event. As soon as COVID hit, it's like a lot of people realized, okay, these are my actual real friends that actually hit me up. Or like, these are like, you start noticing who reaches out and like who are the people that you reach out, and then when you stop reaching out, it
all comes down to like reciprocation. But then at the same time, I have a friend that we don't even see each other for like months on end, but she'll always be my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sometimes where I think I'm like, what determines a real friend? Just because they don't reach out to you because they're busy, but you're also busy, or someone who reaches out just because you guys want to go day drinking, like doing all those like very trivial activities.
That's where it shows like different perspectives, right? Because there are those friends that maybe don't reach out, but when you see each other, it's like you were just talking yesterday.
You pick back up from where you left off.
Yeah, type of thing. And then there's the friends that are definitely the acquaintances, and then when you talk to them, you're like, "So how have you been?" "Oh, I've been good." Or
maybe they're just there because I guess it's entertaining for both of you. Or I guess it just keeps you from, or I don't know. I group my friends into many different categories. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you do that?
Kind of in a way. So, because I was a psychology and sociology major, right? So it is actually true. Like people are put into categories and stuff like that, and it's nothing bad, right? So like. And it kind of shows where you have your different personalities, right? Because there's different ways to express yourself. So, like, I have my group of, like, friends, right? Where, like, all we do is game. So, and that group chat, it's purely just gaming and stuff like that. But then I have, like, my other group, like, people in Setsukara and stuff like that, where, like, those are my creative friends, right? Like, so it's always, like, creative conversations and fun conversations at the same time. And then I recently started talking back with my high school group of friends, right? And with my high school group of friends, it's just, like, geeking and like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to do this? Or it's like, I need a favor for X, Y, and Z. And it's like, it's kind of where you could separate yourselves in like the different type of passions you do.
Yeah.
And it's like, you go to that certain group for that certain type of drive, right? So it's like, if I'm hanging out like with my friend Sam and stuff like that, it's like, okay, what business do I need to get done today? But also at the same time, what can we geek around?
Right, yeah.
with? And then like when I'm hanging with my high school group of friends, it's like, okay, let's catch up. And then it's like, what have you been doing? And then my high school group of friends have been talking a lot about stocks lately.
Okay.
And then with gaming, it's like, do you see that new bundle that came out? It's like, do you see the new character? And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I fit into all those categories, but I guess that's where you put yourself and give your energy when it's needed. Because like, I'm in part of all these group chats, but sometimes I just don't respond into it because I don't have the energy or like, I'm not really focusing on that at that time.
That's how I feel all the time. Yeah, I feel like it's important to have different groups of friends, just not because of different needs, but I guess, you always have that group of friends where you'll go just to solely have fun.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And you'll have that group where you talk about business and work, and
Yes.
that's all you talk about. But sometimes when you do it all the time, it gets tiring.
Yeah,
It's
for
me.
sure. I completely agree, and I think that's a psychological thing too, where you need to go to these different groups. You need this diversity, or else you're going to feel like you're in the same spot the whole time. And that's where like I hear the saying where it's like, I don't know if you hear this too. It's like, oh, I really needed to see that friend because that was that huge relief that I needed for that break.
Yeah.
Type of thing, or I really need to talk to this friend because I've been stuck in this mindset about X, Y, and Z for so
Or
long.
do you ever just hang out with someone and afterwards, instead of feeling socially drained, you feel sort of motivated?
Yes,
right? Those
yes,
are the best.
yeah. It's like, are you? What do you consider yourself? Are you an introvert, extrovert, or more of an extrovert to introvert type of person? Or this depends on the situation.
Everyone asks me that. I don't have an answer. I don't know. What would you?
Oh, okay, interesting. For you, let me see. I think you're. I'm looking at the cameraman because I think she's a EI. She's an extrovert introvert type
Okay.
because you're able to express yourself and you do feed off other people's energy, but then you also need that alone time to yourself where
I agree.
you can be alone and be fine, but at some certain point you're like, I need to see someone or at least want to talk to someone type of thing.
1 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
I prefer being alone.
Oh, so maybe an IE. Yeah, maybe an introvert extrovert then, where you can bring your extrovert self out,
Yeah.
but only a certain type of people will give you energy. Other than that, you need your own independence, and that's when you're most fueled.
I just learned something new about myself.
Yeah, that's the type of things that there is, and it's ever changing. Because in high school, I was an introvert, like just straight up introvert.
I can see.
And then when I went to college, it turned into an EI. I was an extrovert introvert, where like I feed off people's energy, but at the same time, I really value my alone time type of thing. And then some days I get drained, like you say, or some days I just get the energy from the people I just hanged with.
Oh, talking about you said something about high school. How now we're so ever changing. A friend yesterday told me how every single day you're just ever changing. You're so fluctuate. You fluctuate so easily that to me it's a scary thought. The person you are today and the person you are tomorrow are two completely different people. There's so many possibilities.
Yes, it's just like when you see that old friend and it's like, you've changed. It's like, have I changed? It just feels like
But change is always so good.
Yeah, and it's like, it's true because you learn things in a day that you didn't know the next day. And I think a famous quote from, I think it was Justin Bieber or it was someone else. It was one of famous actor or singer. It was like, it's Jaden Smith. Every 7 years, all your cells are replaced. Your whole entire body is different in 7 years. Everything, completely different. So it's just showing that every day you are changing. Every day you are a different person, and you could either grow from it or basically not learn anything from it, type of thing. That's another. I think that's what the experience is.
Yeah, and that's why you just gotta learn to sort of love yourself throughout that whole entire process. Because like, unlike I guess people you can grow away from. If someone changes in a way where you're like, oh, maybe it's best that we don't keep in touch. Then you'll easily remove yourself from them. But with yourself, you have to accept that change.
Yeah, it's kind of like learning what's good for you, right? And that's where a lot of people, I think, especially in our generation, right, are struggling with. It's like finding independence, and it's finding self-confidence, not being cocky, because there's a huge difference between cocky and self-confidence, right? It's just that finding dependence in yourself is actually very, very strong and very scary at the same time, because it's scary of how much you know you could get done if you just have that self-confidence in yourself.
Yeah. A biggest thing about confidence is that if you can look at yourself and 100% say or realize, I know what I want and I know what I deserve and I know I know my non-negotiables. I think that's the ultimate turning point, and that will definitely help guide you through life.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's all starting with your mindset, right? Because I still go through struggles. Because I think the recent like year and a half or 2 years, I've been learning more about independence, and I've been like kind of basically finding my value, like you said. Like I know what I deserve, I know what I want, I know how I want to get there, and I don't want anything to get in that way, type of thing. But I also still. I'm only struggling with it a little bit, but it's still like, oh, what is this person thinking? What is this person thinking? And then I sit down and then I'm like, why do I care what they think? It's like, I just need to keep on moving and keep on doing my own thing.
Yeah, a lot of people our age though, we're just too I guess relying on what other people think of us. Like everything we do has to be genuine, has to be true to us. But I feel like a lot of times people struggle with, oh, like if I do this, no one's gonna like me. If I do this, people will like me even more.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, because I think that's a huge thing too. I guess with the stereotypical Asian community too, because a lot of people I know that are like graduating and stuff like that, they're like, oh, I need to get that job because what are my parents going to think, or what are like when family members are catching me, it's like, oh, what job do you get? It's like, oh no, I'm just focusing on myself this year. And you get some of those parents that are like, oh yeah, just keep on doing, like you deserve that year off, and then some are like, you haven't found a job yet, type of thing. And it's like, are you going to choose to let that bother you, or you're just like, whatever, I'm doing me anyways, type of thing.
I don't know, as long as you're happy.
Yeah, as long as you're happy. Yeah, for sure. But I guess we could go into like wrapping things up, basically. What advice would you give to others out there, right, that are trying to find their self-confidence, of trying to find their independence, and how's it been, because you've been independent your whole life, right? Like, how has that feeling been for you, like knowing that like you want to get stuff done, or finding that self-confidence in yourself and happiness within yourself that you're basically, this day is for me, type of thing?
I guess coming to that, it sounds kind of like cynical, but it's coming to that realization that no one's going to be there for you as much as yourself.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what I keep in the back of my mind when it comes to independence, because I'll easily go on a hike alone. I'll easily go on drives alone. I'll travel alone all the time. I don't like circling myself to, or I guess catering myself towards other people. Another advice I would say would be, as straightforward as it is, just to spend time with yourself. Just to go out there and just do it. Just do everything by yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I feel like, if anything, at the end of the day, one big major thing that people need to do is just find themselves. And then once you find yourself, you're able to know that, it's time to depend on yourself.
You can't find yourself unless you're by yourself.
Yeah.
How are you going to find yourself if you're always out with people at all times?
That's a quote. That's a quote right there. How are you going to find yourself if you're always surrounding yourself with other people?
Yeah, I mean, some people are so afraid to go out and eat at a restaurant by themselves.
I recently just started doing that. It's kind of cool. It's great. It's just like, I'm just enjoying the meal I want to enjoy, type of thing. So yeah, I completely agree with you, and it's like kind of where just keep on doing you, finding yourself, and down the line, like you said, I mean, I don't think it sounds cynical, but it's kind of true. It's like, at the end of the day, whoever's going to make that decision is yourself. So you need to start doing it for yourself. No, don't let other people persuade your decision. You could ask for opinions, you could ask for advice, but at the end of the day, it's your decision, type of thing. Well, Diane, thank you for being on this episode. I really appreciate it. I look forward to possibly future podcasts with you, because we actually had a lot of things, other things we wanted to talk about, but this one is mainly going to be focused on catching up and self-confidence and stuff like that. So thank you all for watching. If you're listening on Spotify, please hit that follow on Apple Podcasts. Excuse my stutter. On Apple Podcasts, please give us a follow as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to be notified when new videos are coming out, and just know that, skits and like short films are coming on this channel again, and vlogs are coming back on this channel. And also, don't be afraid to follow Diane's links. Oh, if you want to plug yourself, what's your ads that you want to use and stuff like that, I'll put it right up here.
Dianes.
Dianes. All right, I'll put that right there in the link below as well. And we'll see you in the next podcast when it's going to be season 3.